Hey, what's going on, guys? Alex here with your weekly fishing report. Now, there's a lot of good stuff happening now. It's starting to feel like fall, and indeed it is that transition time when we're getting some colder temperatures in the mornings here and there, but you know, temperatures are going to be pretty much up and down for the rest of the month. Now, with that saying, some of these fish will start feeding a little bit more heavily and pushing south a little bit once it starts to cool down. Let's start off with rockfish. Rockfish actually picking up a little bit more. Top water in the mornings, anywhere in the area where whether you're fishing points of Eastern Bay, inside the Patapsco, Bay Ridge pilings, early morning top water has been producing some good fish, especially in the Severn River. A lot of keeper size fish between 19 to like 25 inches, anywhere around the area there. Whether you're fishing some of those deeper docks or fishing some of those points like Cedar Point or the Narrows there, matter of the fact is you got to get out there early. So if you're dropping off the kids and you can sneak out for an hour or two, get out there, because that's going to continue to get better. So make sure you stock up on all your topwater lures. Now, remember, guys, there's no one way to fish from all the time. You can actually just choose different ways to fish. Now, trolling will be another great thing to do now that the crowds are almost gone and there's not, you know, a whole bunch of boats out there. And with that saying, trolling some of the planers like number 1s and 2s with some of the bigger spoons now. Now we're going to some of those drone or Tony style spoons, or more of the mid-size 4 to 5 inch size spoons, and slowing down will produce some good sized fish. We're talking about rockfish and bluefish depending on what area you're fishing. So make sure you keep those out. Keep at least 2 rods, even 4 rods, and you can use those planers. Now, as we move up north, you can use more of those soft plastics, your typical tandems with 6-inch sassy shads, and some of the smaller umbrellas. Obviously, the more north we go, the less bluefish we have. The more south you go, the more bluefish you're going to have, and you don't want to run those plastics. Things are going to get cut up as soon as you find some bluefish. Other than that, live lining inside the Patapsco, Bay Ridge pilings, even into the Chesapeake River, some of those structure areas throughout the bay is still producing fish, and we're expecting these spots to stay here as long as they did last year, probably hopefully until October. So we're going to have plenty of bait for you guys to live line with. Fishing around the Pulse Island area for rockfish has been good too, like we spoke of last week, and that's live lining eels, drifting eels through those humps on the south side, and don't be surprised if you catch a couple blue cats doing that. Now, as we were speaking of rockfish in the area here, now this is a time for you guys from the shoreline, surf casters, to get out there, and it's going to be your best time to fish for rockfish. Probably best place to do that is Thomas Point Park for you guys catching some plugs. Obviously, you need a pass for that, but Sandy Point, Romacoke, and some of these Lake Chesapeake areas will be pretty good if you're staying out into the evenings, catching some chunks of bait, and you're going to start seeing the size of the fish increase and the fishing get better throughout the month. Once again, soft crabs, peelers, and cut bait will be your best bait for now. Bluefish, trolling once again for bluefish is going to be a great thing down south, anywhere from Poplar Island and south. Get a mix of rain, mix of mackerel, blues, and some rockfish in there. And the mackerels are going to still stick around until that first cold snap. And once we see that, we'll probably see them push south. But stick throwing with, throwing some of those metals. Sometimes you might want to downsize on the size of the actual metal to get more bites. Bull reds are also starting to kind of become a thing where they're starting to move a little bit more south. I'll probably say the middle of September is usually kind of like the range we have for them in Maryland water, so you can still catch them if you chase them down into Virginia. And of course, you guys fishing anywhere from Solomon's down to Point Lookout, and you're trolling houses for the cobia will be a thing right now, where some of the guys last year were catching cobia even way past the 15 when it's the closure. So keep that in mind right now. If you're trolling for mackerels and blues, put a house out there with a beefier rod, and there's always that chance to get that cobia. White perch has been pretty decent around the area, still fishing shallow or structure with sabiki rigs. For you guys off the ocean, fishing Ocean City or Assateague. Assateague has been actually pretty decent with some keeper flounder that we've seen throughout the weeks. This past few weeks of actual keeper flounder Not a lot of them, but they're bycatching them here and there, and actually some redfish at nights, and some of them being pretty big, mixed sizes also in there with some slot-sized reds. But besides that, we're looking at also having some of that great fishery start to pick up in the back bays with some more blues and rockfish in the next few weeks. And there's still plenty of them, but it should get better. Crabbing wise, we're still doing good with crabs, and remember, this is the time of year where you're getting those nice and hefty crabs, so get out there and try to get some crabs before they're gone. And that's a free fishing report, guys. You guys have a good one.